Janet and I'll be talking about methyl iodide. This is Michelle Smiley, and in May of 2000, her life changed in the blink of an eye, basically. She was walking alongside her beautiful house in Ventura County, California, when she got sprayed from up above. She looked up at the top, it was a helicopter, and it was spraying the nearby avocado groves with a pesticide. She thought nothing of it. She was just kind of sad because it messed with her hair. But in less than 72 hours, her life completely changed. First of all, her body was just completely swollen up. She couldn't move at all. She went to we'll call 911, went to the hospital. They did blood work, and she had chemical exposure, bad chemical poisoning, basically. There was nothing they could do about it, and in less than a month, she lacked complete coordination. Her eyesight was deteriorating. She had like bleeding internal and external, still swollen. She couldn't articulate clearly. She couldn't write. She couldn't read. Basically, all of this changed her life with the quickness. And it's weird to think that the cause of this was chemical poisoning, but it was. Now, it scares me to think that chemicals could be the cause of this because we live in Monterey County and there's chemicals and pesticides all around us. So it makes me wonder, what are we exposed to currently and what will we be exposed to in the future? One pesticide that is causing great concern here in the state is methyl iodide. It is introduced and it has been introduced into the country since 2007. But here in California, in the last hours of the Schwarzenegger legislation that was approved in the December 2010, it's causing great concern because it is bad for the environment and it's bad for our health. So, first of all, let's discuss the origins of methyl iodide. Methyl iodide is basically used to replace the ozone-depleting chemical methyl bromide. Methyl iodide is actually developed by Arista Life Science Corporation, which is based in North Carolina. So it's being manufactured under the name of Midas. But it was synthesized by a chemist from UC Riverside. Author Jeffrey Coley in the book Risk Management for Hazardous Chemicals states that this chemical is highly toxic. Even the smallest amount needs to be handled with like a hood fume, special syringes, and special bottles because none of this can be exposed to the air. It's that toxic. The price, the location, and the transportation of this product itself is completely kept top secret. No one knows where the factory is. No one knows how much the price is. No one knows how it's handled. It's been rumored that it's about $2,500 to $3,000 per acre of this product, but that's just rumor, of course, speculation. And that is according to Monterey County Weekly. Although the origins of this chemical are mysterious, what is known about this chemical is relevant enough to cause outcry in the scientific community. There's been scientists from Yale and Berkeley and a bunch of other top-notch institutions that have assessed this chemical. All of them have come to the conclusion that it's just not safe for public release. And you can't contain it to one area. It will get drifted into the air and it will reach other communities. Regardless of this, the United States legalized it as a pesticide in 2007. Instantly, there was an outcry in the scientific community. About 50 scientists and 4 Nobel Prize winners came together and wrote a letter speaking out against this chemical. Obviously, the United States didn't care. They still used it in states such as Florida and other states. And then in 2010, California approved it during the last hours of the Schwarzenegger rule or whatever. And then instantly, there was like outcry by scientists and Californians. There's been certain groups of Californians that have sued the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. They sued them for violating acts such as the California Environmental Quality Act, the Pesticide Contamination Act, and the Birth Defect Prevention Act. So not only is methyl iodide just bad to begin with, it's also bad for our environment. The main concern that scientists have is the concern of drift, basically. So what this means is that, yeah, it'll be sprayed in one specific location, but the air is not going to keep it there. The air is obviously going to make it diffuse, and the air is going to make it reach other communities as well, exposing them to this pesticide. An example that I got from the website pana.org, and I live in Salinas, I never honestly heard of this. I guess in October 2005, about 300 people in this area got sick including 30 paramedics because of an outbreak of a pesticide called chlorophycerin. I can't say it. So this was brought about by this drip that scientists are so concerned about. Not only is it bad for the air, it's bad for our water quality as well. About 99% of it goes up into the air, 1% of it stays in water. On our soil. Doesn't sound that bad, but 1% of it still stays in soil, which then leaks into the water. Like I said, it doesn't sound so bad, but government regulating agencies, according to the Monterey County Weekly, it has been known that they change some of the labels on the product itself. So the adequate amount that we could be exposed to according to regulations is 0.32 parts per billion, and the government, the agencies change it to just regular 32 parts per billion. So that's increasing the concentration by 100-fold. Not only is it bad for the environment, but it's also bad for our health as well. It can lead to serious health issues, disorders, and diseases. Symptoms of methyl iodide poisoning include dizziness, sleeplessness, nausea, diarrhea, slurred speech, muscle convulsions, lack of coordination, pulmonary edema, swelling, and it could be highly toxic to the central nervous system. It can lead permanent damage to your nervous system. In animal testing, it is used specifically to create cancer in lab rats, and this could be looked up in the Weekly, it could be looked up on Panda.org, a bunch of other different sources. It could also lead to thyroid diseases, it could lead to asthma, like autism, a bunch of different disorders. People who inhale it not only risk harm to themselves, but to people around them as well. So obviously, if it gets on your jacket and your little kid touches it, you could risk that contamination as well. It is also a mutagenic agent, meaning that it reacts readily with DNA, it alters structure, and it also causes mutations inside your DNA. And these are just studies that are done before the chemical is released into the public. So once it's actually released into the public, can you imagine what harm it could do to us as well as other communities? So as you can see, there is a great level of concern regarding methyl iodide due to its hazardous nature, the effects it has on our environment, and the effects it could have on our health. It makes me uncomfortable to think that we live in an area that gets exposed to so many pesticides. My parents work with the agriculture industry. I'm sure you guys know some people that work in that industry as well. It's really sad to think that a lot of these diseases and whatnot are inevitable because we're simply breathing the air around us, or we're touching water that's contaminated with these chemicals. So after researching this topic, I think that we should all be aware of our surroundings and be aware of what is around us, because the story that happened to her, could have kept previous, it's okay. The story that happened to her could happen to you or me or your little brother, your mom, your dad.